Just have there and just look at it.
I don't know, just leave it like that. No.
You can see me.
No, you can sit there. You can sit at the corner of this chair, I think.
Oh, where's it?
I had to move it because it was in my back.
No.
8 seconds.
Oh, actually, it could have been done.
Good morning, everyone. We are Barbados, the host country this morning. This is the 125th session. I am Gail Veith, the Regional Coordinator of the International Association of First Ladies for Peace. And I'd like to welcome all of our leaders, our blessed families, our brothers and sisters who are joining our Hundoke morning devotion, especially those joining us for the first time. Welcome, everyone. Our opening statement is, today, Anshi'il, the 13th day on the 12th month by the heavenly calendar, on the 9th year of Chanilguk, which is January the 15th, 2022, on the daily morning reading Hundoke session 225, we offer our devotion for a hopeful, holy community.
Sister Gail, you're on mute. Unmute yourself, please.
Gail, yeah, you are.
Sister Gail.
Sister, you are mute. Please unmute, please, guys.
I would like to welcome up Mrs. Cheryl Evelyn to offer the morning representative prayer.
Gail,
Cheryl, are you here with us?
Gail, first we need to make a family pledge. Okay.
Okay. Family pledge.
Yes. Okay.
Today is Anshi'il, so we will recite the entire family pledge. Number 1, our family, the owner of Chanilguk, pledges to seek our original homeland and build the kingdom of God on earth and in heaven, the original ideal of creation by centering on true love. Number 2, our family, the owner of Chanilguk, pledges to represent and become central to heaven and earth by attending the heavenly parent and true parents. We pledge to perfect the dutiful family way of filial sons and daughters in our family, patriots in our nation, saints in the world, and divine sons and daughters in heaven and on earth by centering on true love. Number 3, our family, the owner of Chanilguk, pledges to perfect the 4 great realms of heart, the 3 great kingships, and the realm of the royal family by centering on true love. Number 5, our family, the owner of Channelgook, pledges to strive every day to advance the unification of the spirit world and physical world as subject and object partners by centering on true love. Number 6, our family, the owner of Channelgook, pledges to become a family that moves heavenly fortune by embodying the heavenly parent and true parents, and to perfect a family that conveys heaven's blessing to our community by centering on true love. Number 7, our family, the owner of Channelgook, pledges through living for the sake of others to perfect the world based on the culture of heart, which is rooted in the original lineage by centering on true love. Number 8, our family, the owner of Channelgook, pledges, having entered the era of Channelgook, to achieve the ideal of God and human beings united in love through absolute faith, absolute love, and absolute obedience, and to perfect the realm of liberation and complete freedom in the kingdom of God on earth and in heaven by centering on true love. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, now we will have the representative prayer. And at this time, I'd like to welcome up our dear sister Cheryl Evelyn to offer our representative prayer.
Thank you, Sister Gail.
Is Cheryl Evelyn here with us?
Yes,
Yes.
Sister Gail.
Yes, welcome Cheryl.
Right. Well, thank
You
you.
can unmute yourself so we can hear
No.
you.
No, she's,
Me?
it's okay. It's okay.
I can't hear you right now, so just unmute.
No,
I
she's
am-
unmuted.
I am muted.
Yes.
Can you hear
I
me?
can't hear you yet.
Hey, you have a problem. Maybe it's you, because we can hear her very well.
Yes. Hello?
Okay. Hello, go ahead, please.
Okay.
Cheryl,
thank you.
we can't hear you.
Gail, we can hear her.
Okay, go ahead, sister.
Thank you. My name is Cheryl Evelyn.
Okay, everyone can hear you, Cheryl.
Please join me in prayer. Okay, thank you. Good morning, Heavenly Parent. Good morning, true parents of all humankind. We are thankful for life on this beautiful day. Once again, we come together to hear and to share your word, to live your word and direction. We are grateful to you. Thank you for love, life, and lineage. Thank you for being our rock of salvation. Thank you for being our healer. Thank you for being going before us and guiding us, giving us wisdom and understanding. And as we continue to work with our true parents in promoting love, peace, and hope for one family under God. These things I report in our family name, Michael and Cheryl Evelyn. Blessing to family, Aju.
You.
Thank you, Cheryl. I'm sorry about that. Everyone could hear you except for me, apparently.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, so now I would like to invite up our other dear Cheryl to read the Hundoke reading this morning, Mrs. Cheryl Hamshaw.
Morning.
Thank you.
Good morning, brothers and sisters. Today's reading is from the True Father's book, A Definite Compass for My Life. The Moon clan originated in Nampyeong near Naju, Cholo province, a town about 320 miles south of Seoul in the southwest region of the country. My great-great-grandfather, Sung Ha-hoon, had 3 sons. The youngest of these was my great-grandfather, Jung Hil-moon, who himself had 3 sons, Chi-guk, Shin-guk, and Yeon-guk. My grandfather, Chi-guk-moon, was the eldest. Grandfather Chi-guk-moon was illiterate as he did not attend either a modern elementary school or the traditional village school. His power of concentration was so great, however, that he was able to recite the full text of the Korean translation of San-gyo-ji just by having listened to others read it to him. And it wasn't just San-gyo-ji. When he heard someone tell an interesting story, he could memorize it and retell it in exactly the same words. He could memorize anything after hearing it just once. My father took after him in this way. He could sing from memory the Christian hymnal consisting of more than 400 pages. Grandfather followed the last words of his father to live his life with the spirit of giving, but he was not able to maintain the family fortune. This was because his youngest brother, my great-uncle Yeon-guk-moon, borrowed money against the family's property and lost it all. Following this incident, members of the family went through some very hard times, but my grandfather and father never spoke ill of great-uncle Yeon-guk. This was because they knew he had not lost the money gambling or doing anything of that nature. Instead, he had sent the money to the provisional government of the Republic of Korea based in Shanghai, China. In those days, 70,000 won was a large sum, and this was the amount that my great-uncle donated to the independence movement. Great-uncle Yeon-guk, a graduate of Pyongyang Seminary and a minister, was an intellectual who was fluent in English and well-versed in Chinese studies. He served as the responsible pastor for 3 churches, including Dokheung Church in Dokyeonmyeon. He participated in the drafting of the 1919 Declaration of Independence, together with Nam Son-che. When it was found, however, that 3 of the 16 Christian leaders among the signatories were associated with Dokheung Church, great-uncle had his name removed from the list. Sung Hyung Lee, one of the remaining signatories who worked with my great-uncle in establishing the Osan School, asked great-uncle Yeon-guk to take care of all his affairs in case the independence movement failed and he died at the hands of the Japanese colonial authorities. On returning to our hometown, great-uncle Yeon-guk printed tens of thousands of Korean flags and handed them out to people who poured into the streets to shout their support for Korean independence. He was arrested on March 8th as he led a demonstration on the hill behind the Aipomyeon Administrative Office. The demonstration in support of independence was attended by the principal, faculty, and some 2,000 students of the Osan School, some 3,000 Christians, and some 4,000 other residents of the area. He was given a 2-year prison sentence and was imprisoned in the Gwiju prison. The following year, he was released as part of a special pardon. Even after his release, severe persecution by the Japanese police meant he could never stay long in one place, and he was always on the run. He carried a large scar where the Japanese police had tortured him by stabbing him with a bamboo spear and carving out a piece of his flesh. He was speared in the legs and in the side of his ribs, but he said that he never gave in. When the Japanese found they couldn't break him, they offered him the position of county chief if he would pledge to stop participating in the independence movement. His response was to rebuke the Japanese in a loud voice. "Do you think I would take on a position and work for you thieves?" When I was about 7 or 8 years old, great uncle Yungkook was staying in our home for a short time, and some members of the Korean Independence Army came to see him. They were low on funds and had traveled by night on foot through a heavy snowfall to reach our house. My father covered the heads of us children with a sleeping quilt so that we would not be awakened. I was already wide awake, and I lay there under the quilt, my eyes wide open, listening as best as I could to the songs of the adults talking. Though it was late, my mother killed a chicken and boiled some noodles to serve to the independent fighters. To this day, I cannot forget the words that I heard great uncle Yungkook speak as I lay there under the quilt, holding my breath in excitement. "Even if you die," he said, "if you die for the sake of our country, you will be blessed." He continued, "Right now we can only see darkness before us, but the bright morning is sure to come." Because of the effects of torture, he did not have full use of his body, but his voice resonated with strength. Food is love. I also remember thinking to myself then, why did such a wonderful person as great uncle have to go to prison? If only we were stronger than Japan, this wouldn't have happened. Great uncle Yungkook continued to roam about the country, avoiding persecution by the Japanese police, and it was not until 1966, while I was in Seoul, that I received news of him again. Great uncle appeared in a dream to one of my younger cousins and told him, "I am buried in Gyeongsang, Gangwon province." We went to the address he gave in the dream and found that he had passed away 9 years before that. We found only a grave mound covered with weeds. I had his remains reburied in Paju, Gyeonggi province near Seoul. In the years following Korea's liberation from Japan in 1945, communists in North Korea killed Christian ministers and independent fighters indiscriminately. Great uncle Yungkook, fearing his presence might cause harm to the family, escaped the communists by crossing south over the 30th parallel and settling in Gyeongsang. No one in our family was aware of this. He supported himself in that remote mountain valley by selling calligraphy brushes. Later, we were told that he set up a traditional village school where he taught Chinese classics. According to some of his former students, he often enjoyed spontaneously composing poems in Chinese characters. His students transcribed and preserved some 130 of these, including the following. South-North Peace. 10 years have passed since I left home to come south. The flow of time speeds my hair to turn white. I would return north, but how can I? What was intended as a short sojourn has been prolonged. Wearing the long-sleeved co-hemp clothing of summer, I fan myself with a silk fan and consider what the autumn will bring. Peace between south and north draws near. Children waiting under the eaves, you needn't worry so much. Though separated from his family and living in Gyeongsang, a land unfamiliar to him in every way, great uncle Yungkook's heart was filled with concerns for his country. Great uncle also left this poetic verse This poetic verse. When setting your goal in the beginning, pledge yourself to a high standard. Don't allow yourself even the least bit of private desire. My great uncle's contribution to the independence movement were posthumously recognized by the Republic of Korea government in 1977 with a presidential award, and in 1990 with the Order of Merit for National Foundation. Even now, I sometimes recite his poetic verses. They are infused with his steadfast love for his country, even in the face of extreme adversity. Recently, as I have grown older, I think about Great Uncle Yunguk more often. Each phrase of his poetry expressing his heart of concern for his country penetrates into my heart. I have taught our members the song Dehanjiriga, Song of Korean Geography, whose words were written by Great Uncle Yunguk himself. I enjoy singing this song with our members. When I sing this song, from Mount Bektu to Mount Hala, I feel relieved of my burdens. Song of Korean Geography. The peninsula of Korea in the east, positioned among three countries. North, the wide plains of Manchuria; east, the deep and blue East Sea; south, a sea of many islands; west, the deep yellow sea, food in the seas on three sides, or treasure of all species of fish. Mighty Mount Pictou stands on the north, providing water to the rivers of Amrock and Tumin, flowing into seas east and west, marking a clear border with the Soviets. Mount Kumgang shines bright in the center, a preserve for the world, part of Korea. Mount Hala rises above the blue South Sea, a landmark for fishermen at sea. Four plains of Daejeongang, Gumgang, and Jeonju give our people food and clothing. Four mines of Wonsan, Sunan, Gyecheon, and Jeryong give us the treasures of the earth. Four cities of Gyeongsang, Pyongyang, Daegu, and Kaesong shine over the land. Four ports of Busan, Wonsan, Mokpo, and Incheon welcome foreign ships. Railroads spread out from Gyeongsang, connecting the two main lines, Gyeongui and Gyeongbu. Branch lines, Gyeongwon and Honam, run north and south, cover the peninsula. Our sites tell us that history. Pyongyang, 2,000-year-old city of Dangun; Kaesong, capital of Koryo; Gyeongsang, 500-year capital of Chosun; Gyeongju, 2,000 years of Chile's culture shines, origin of Pakhyuk Kosai. Chungcheong has Buyo, the historic capital of Pekche. Sons of Korea pioneering the future, the waves of civilization wash against our shores. Come out of the hills and march forward in strength to the world of the future. Thank you. Reading finished.
Thank you very much, Cheryl. It was a pleasure to listen to you. And now I would like to welcome up our national leader, Reverend Peter Phillips. I'm always amazed at how much Reverend Phillips knows the history of our Barbados Church in perfect detail. I'd like to welcome him up. Welcome, Reverend Phillips.
Thank you very much, Sister Gail. I want to take this opportunity this morning to Thank our Heavenly Parent for giving us the opportunity to be here this morning to host the 100 Here session. I also want to thank our Sister Gail for her wonderful introduction, Sister Cheryl Evelyn for her beautiful prayer, and Sister Cheryl Hamshaw for her outstanding reading. Good morning, everyone. I am Josimika.
Morning.
Buenos dias.
Buenos
Bonjour.
días. Bonjour.
Today, I first want to thank our brother Gary, because originally he was the one that would have been given his testimony today. But I remember that today, January the 15th, is 45 years that I first set foot in the Unification Church, 1977. And so then today is exactly, it was a Saturday afternoon. So today is exactly 45 years that I came to know the Unification Church. Incidentally, church or God wasn't on my mind on that day. But as God have had it, I accompanied my cousin to deliver a book. And that book delivery lasted for over 6 hours. Because we arrived at the church headquarters around 1:30 in the afternoon, and we left the night at 10:15. We were country boys back then, miles away from the headquarters. So we had to run to take transportation home. And believe you me, we did run. Because when we got to the bus terminal, all of the other buses had gone to the destination, except the one that would take us to our destination. And when we got on the bus, the driver was asleep, and a deep sleep. Later on the journey, I managed to go to the front of the bus, and I asked the driver what happened that he could not move. He said to me, "Boy, I was just sleeping. I don't know what happened. I just fell asleep." So when we disembarked the bus, I said to my cousin who brought me, "I don't know about you, but as of today, as of tomorrow, Sunday, I am going to church at that church." Because back then, the members were young members. We were all around the same age group, 19, 20. As a matter of fact, the oldest member at the time was a brother called Roy. He was 28. But other than that, everybody else was under 25. I remember back then, for morning service, light service, on Saturday nights, we take a shower or early in the morning on Sunday, and they gather in the prayer room cross-legged, sitting behind your central figure, a candle burning, and the atmosphere was so quiet, you could hear your heartbeat. And you go into the prayer room with serenity, with peace. There was something there that attracted me back then. And I couldn't understand why these young people are sitting in this room praying. But what I also remembered is the pledge number 1. And that has stuck with me throughout my life. As the center of the cosmos, I will fulfill our Father's will and the responsibility given me. And at the end of all the 5 pledges, we will say, "This I pledge and swear, this I pledge and swear, this I pledge and swear." Those words have brought me through my life in Unification Church to this very day. And at the end of the year, when Dr. Yang mentioned to us that the leaders should witness and win one person a month, it brought back memories to when our true father in the 80s said to us, 1, 1, 1. And so that I want to thank Reverend Yang, Dr. Yang, for encouraging us to reflect on our spiritual lives. Yes, we have become older, but I don't think that we have become cold. So we must be willing to give ourselves in such a way that we resemble and reflect the attitude of our true father, what he has demonstrated in his life, the sacrifices he have made. And even though now we are living in the time of the family, of the nation, those words of back then as the center of the cosmos. They give us ownership. They give us that kind of possession to want to go out and do God's will. And I also remember, after flight service on Sunday mornings, we would sit and the center figure would read some part of Father's speech. And we would debate it, we would analyze it. And those days we were strong. Even I guess because we were young and determined, we really committed ourselves to doing the will. And on Sundays, after Sunday service, we would have dinner. Then we would go on the street and we would witness. And witnessing was like a joy. You enjoy meeting people on the street. I can't even explain it. It was second nature. And then afterwards, then we had a home church session set up. I remember listening to an interview by an American prominent person, journalist, I think he was, interviewing our true father, true interpreter. And during this interview, he asked Father Moon, he said to Father Moon, your members believe that you are the Messiah. Are you the Messiah? Father Moon smiled broadly, and he said, yes, I am the Messiah. And you, and you, and you, and you, and you are also Messiahs. That part really touched me there, because I couldn't understand what he was saying, that you, and you, and you, and you are also Messiahs. But as the years turned over, we understood that all of us, not only are tribal Messiahs, not only national Messiahs, but also universal Messiahs. We have the responsibility to bring our families, our friends, even our enemies under God's dominion of love. So I could understand them back then, how determined our true father was. And with that, it became part and parcel of my livelihood. I was fortunate to be sent to various islands in the region. Many times I was accompanied by people like Jamaica, Dana Salmon, and Guyana, Ronald McGarrett. We were at one point seen as the three musketeers of the Caribbean. We were the ones going out to different countries and teaching the divine principle. And even before we had what we have now, the Caribbean Community Center and such like, we three brothers were the apex of the Caribbean. It was a pleasure for us to go to one other country, to go to other countries, being invited, working with our laptops and our projectors to go and teach the divine principle. And so, when we reflect upon those days, I said we have gotten older and not colder. I think we need now to go back in our minds and our hearts and rejuvenate ourselves to really get out there and do what we're supposed to do. Again, I want to thank Dr. Yang for that encouragement. And it's interesting that Mr. Salmon joined his last MC session the morning before I came online. Those very words that he spoke as the center of the cosmos, I recited that in my mind. And surprisingly, during his presentation, he said the same words. So after the session, I called him and said, we're thinking the same way I'm thinking. He said, Brother Phillips, great minds think alike. So if as members, leaders, whether you are Jacob, whether you are Abel, Adam, whatever, the important factor in our lives of faith is to live the words that our two parents have given us. Support our true mother and work diligently to ensure that the child becomes a reality. On another note, I work at the hospital. I'm into healthcare. On a daily basis, I see COVID-19 patients. It is part and parcel of my responsibility. I want to urge brothers and sisters carefully. Our true mother, our true father has spoken to us many times about health, taking care of our health. So in this pandemic situation, there are four major things as a healthcare worker that I would like to share with you. Sanitize. If there's no water and soap, but use water and soap more often than anything else. If you don't have the water or soap, you use alcohol at least 60%. Wear your mask when you are in crowds. If you are not in crowd, please remove the mask. Allow your lungs to receive natural oxygen. Because with the mask on your face, you are taking in carbon dioxide. So it gives the lungs the opportunity to breathe natural air. So when you are home, do not wear your mask. If you have guests, but then you wear your mask. Keep away from crowds. These 4 aspects can save you from acquiring the COVID-19. Like I said, it is my daily job. I move patients to and from the hospital and isolated centers with COVID-19. So I am in it 100%. So I will know. So brothers and sisters, I want to thank you for your ear. I want to thank you for your presence. And I pray that God will continue to bless and guide each and every one of us as we do our best to support our true mother in every aspect of our work. Thank you very much. God bless you. Have a wonderful week.
Thank you, Reverend Phillips, for your faith and loyalty all of these years and for sharing some of that experience with us this morning. We're so grateful for your deep and sincere heart. And now,
Thank you very much.
before our unison prayer, I'd like to welcome all the brothers and sisters who are joining us for the first time today. Thank you for joining us. You're welcome. And let us all now do our unison prayer. Music is- We would like to give special thanks to the Holy Community of Barbados this morning, and also to our brother Brian, who gets up early every day and translates for all of us. Successes and blessings in all of your missions, to all of our leaders, our blessed families, our dear brothers and sisters of Hanu Pumunim Holy Community. Okmanse for everyone. And now we would like to turn our second session over to Eliezer. Thank you, Eliezer.
Good morning, brother and sister. Queridos hermanos y hermanas, muchísimas gracias. Thank you to our dear brother from Barbados. We want to send all of you our Saranghamnida, Kamsahamnida. Queridos hermanos y hermanas, gracias al reverendo Philip por los consejos muy valuables en este tiempo de cuidar nuestra salud, de tener cuidado con la pandemia y también siguiendo el consejo de la Madre Verdadera, que tenemos que hacer ejercicio. Entonces, vamos a continuar nuestra sesión con los ejercicios matutinos, especialmente, como dijo la Madre Verdadera, si perdemos nuestra salud, lo hemos perdido todo. Entonces, por favor, cuidemos nuestra salud y no la perdamos. ¿Ok?
건강박수입니다. 주먹박수입니다. 주먹끼리 박수 쳐주세요. 만성 두통이나 어깨 부위 통증을 예방하는 박수입니다. 봉오리 박수입니다. 손 뒤꿈치끼리 박수 쳐주세요. 방광을 자극하는 효과가 있어 생식 기능을 좋게 하는 박수입니다. 손등 박수입니다. 손등을 반대 손바닥으로 박수 쳐주세요. 요통이 있거나 척추 측만에 효과가 있는 박수입니다. 손가락 박수입니다. 손가락 끝으로 박수 쳐주세요. 손가락 끝에 얼굴 혈이 모여 있어 만성 비염이나 눈이 자주 피로해지는 사람에게 효과 있는 박수입니다. 먹보 박수입니다. 주먹과 보자기를 번갈아 가며 박수 쳐주세요. 손바닥에 심장, 폐와 관련된 혈이 있어 심폐 기능을 좋게 하는 박수입니다. 손바닥 박수입니다. 손바닥끼리 박수 쳐주세요. 손바닥의 마찰, 진동을 통해 모든 경혈이 자극을 받고 혈액순환을 도우며 장 기능을 좋게 하고 갑상선, 당뇨, 합병증에 효과가 있는 박수입니다. 달걀 박수입니다. 손바닥을 오므려 박수 쳐주세요. 중풍과 치매 예방에 도움이 되는 박수입니다. 목 뒤 박수입니다. 목 뒤에서 손을 모아 박수 쳐주세요. 이상 건강박수였습니다.
Vamos, nos ponemos de pie. A movernos.
그대가 돌아서면 두 눈이 마주칠까 심장이 바운스 바운스 두근데 들릴까봐 겁나 한참을 망설이다 용기를 내 밤새워 준비한
Vamos, José. José Salazar, no lo veo.
처음 본 순간부터 내 모습이 내 가슴 울렁이게 만들었어 Baby, you're my trampoline You make 모인 널 사랑이 남긴 상처들도 감싸줄게 어쩌면 우린 벌써 알고 있어 그토록 찾아 헤맨 사랑의
Muy bien, Jerónimo.
외롭게만 하는 걸 You make me You make me bounce Bounce, bounce 망설여져 나 혼자만의 감정일까 내가 잘못 생각한 거라면 어떡하니 눈물이 나 별처럼 반짝이는 눈망울도 수줍어 달콤하다 내 입술도 내겐 꿈만 같은 걸 You make me 벌써 알고 있어 찾아 헤맨 사랑의 꿈 외롭게만 하는 걸 어쩌면 벌써 You make me Oh you make me
Queridos hermanos, hermanas, muchísimas gracias. Thank you very much.
Muchas gracias todos, hermanos.
Sí, gracias a todos, muy bien.
Oh, Leonita, Deborah Leonita.
Yes, sister.
Reverend Kim, good.
Thank you, brother.
Hello, sister Hanshao. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, gracias.
God bless you. Have a wonderful day.
You speak very well Korean.
Ready? I thought I was making a mess of it.
No, yo digo-
Leonida,
Thank
Belial
you.
Kazaki, hasta el otro año.
Es Salvador, mire.
Muchas gracias.
Buenos días, buenos días. Buenos días, mi compadre. Buenos días, mi compadre. Hasta el próximo año. Mi compadre, no me maltrate. Lo quiero. Hermano Denis Salvo.
Buen día a todos.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Salmon.
Good morning.
Buen día,
Good morning,
buen día,
Master.
gracias.
God bless
Mrs.
you.
Masato,
God bless
buenos días.
Barbados forever.
Nos
Thank
vemos
you,
mañana,
too.
gracias. Eso sonrisa, eso que se vea. Buenos días.
Regalado. Buenos días.
Muchas
bendiciones
para todos.
Haití.
Buen día.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning.
Bonjour.
Good morning, everyone. Bless you all.
You know how Chocolate.
Morning, everyone. Thank you for a wonderful day and a wonderful week.
Glad to come to know the
Oreo.
here.
No, Pete.
1977. Enjoy the church as well.
Yes, Charlene, babe.
Ariel, Emily.
MC. Have a blessed day, everyone. Have a blessed day.
Have a blessed day. Morning.
Da, 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 da. Ay, niña,
Happy and blessed weekend.
la 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 la. Gracias.
Happy birthday, Elias.
Eso.
Feliz día a todos.